Hello BookTube, welcome back to my 2025 library tour. In this episode, the end of history. Let's get started. First up is a holdover from the previous shelf. This is Crusaders, an epic history of the wars for the Holy Lands by Dan Jones. This is a UK trade paperback from Head of Zeus, which formed a good chunk of the books on the shelf yesterday. So this is a history of the Crusades from a fairly popular historian who tends to take, I think, a bit of a novelistic approach to his subjects. I don't remember if I ever tried this in the American hardcover when my library had it or not. Don't remember. The Pity of War. England and Germany, Bitter Friends, Beloved Foes by Miranda Seymour. So this is a look at the relationship between the British Empire and the nascent German Empire during the years leading up to World War I. Byzantium, The Decline and Fall by John Julius Norwich. This is the third volume of John Julius Norwich's trilogy of history, or his 3-volume long history of the Byzantine Empire. I picked this up many years ago from the Wicklow-McLean County Friends at the Library book sale. This is a discarded book from their collection. Outrageous. The Story of Section 28 in Britain's Battle for LGBT Education by Paul Baker. So I picked this up, I think not from the big yearly sale from the University of Chicago Press, but one of the more targeted sale catalogs, which are usually 30% off or 40% off. Empress Dowager Cixi, The Concubine Who Launched Modern China by Zheng Chang. So this is a biography of the Empress Cixi, who was the power behind the throne for much of the late 19th century Qing Empire. The Only Woman in the Room, Golda Meir and Her Path to Power by Pnina Lahav. So this is a biography of Golda Meir. Island Stories, Britain and Its History in the Age of Brexit by David Reynolds. So this is a history of Britain with the general consensus that Brexit is a bad idea. I picked this up from Book Depository several years ago and quite enjoyed it. Although I don't really remember much of it. It's been so long. Perhaps this book really shouldn't be here, but didn't really have anything else to put it. 1000 Years of Manga by Brigitte Koyama Richard, translated from the French by David Rezinowitz. So this is a gorgeously illustrated introduction to manga, which has in the late 20th and into the 21st century become synonymous with Japanese comic books. Form of literature that we will be getting to on the next leg of the library tour. But that's not the full story. And this book looks at that history in some detail, and a quicker overview of more contemporary manga. I love the illustrations. It's not necessarily, I think, for a more contemporary manga fan, which is a lot of where I had my issues with it. A number of series aren't mentioned, so on and so forth. So there is a history of manga coming out later this year from Yale, which I'm sorely tempted to go ahead and pre-order. Next is Gay Life and Culture, A World History, edited by Robert Aldrich. So this is a look at gay history broken down via continent, and also time period as well, by a variety of writers, gorgeously illustrated. This beat-up old book is a survey of historic costume by Phyllis Tortora and Keith Eubank. I picked this up from the Wickham McLennan County Library, Friends of the Library sale, largely because I wanted ideas for outfits in my stories, although I've never really looked at it all that much, and it is beat up. "1688, The First Modern Revolution" by Steve Pincus. So this is the history of the Glorious Revolution. Oh, I still have this. The Road to Dien Bien Phu, A History of the First War for Vietnam by Christopher Gosha. So this is the history of the formation of modern Vietnam, from French colonial rule. And this is the story of the Vietnamese War of Independence from France, which resulted in Vietnam being split into North and South Vietnam, which in the more known here in the United States Vietnam War saw Vietnam reunify under the communists. I bought this 2 or 3 years ago. Didn't have much success with it. Came back to it. I think had even less success with it. And I think I'm keeping it because I want to give it another go. Road to Disaster, A New History of America's Descent into Vietnam by Brian Van de Mark. So this is the story of the American involvement in Vietnam. Haven't got to yet. Great State, China and the World by Timothy Brook. So this is the story of various Chinese dynasties' engagements with the outside world, starting with Marco Polo's journey to the court of Kublai Khan, and it proceeds to the various expeditions by Zheng He under the Ming, and then the kind of increased European presence with the Qing, and ultimately into the Republic and Communist years. The Greeks and the Persians, from the 6th to the 4th centuries by Herman Bingston. So I picked this up many years ago from the Wickham McLennan County Friends at the Library book sale. Have not gotten around to it yet. Conquistadores, A New History of Spanish Discovery and Conquest by Fernando Cervantes. So, this is a history of the conquistadores from the first contact with Native America to well within the colonial period. Really good. I actually quite enjoyed this book. And finally, Kingdom of Characters, The Language Revolution That Made China Modern by Jing Su. I have not gotten around to this yet. So that concludes my history collection. I will, of course, take a few days off to sort of figure out how I'm going to do the manga part of this tour, which will start this coming Monday. It will probably last for this next upcoming work week. So until then, BookTube, thank you, have a great afternoon, and stay safe.